I've been a big fan of the Nintendo Switch since it launched. This thing, it's turned into my second favorite Nintendo console. It can't beat the Super Nintendo. That remains king for me, but it's getting up there. A lot of cool stuff going on with the Switch. And since it launched, there's been numerous rumors. My God, leaks, insider information, all over the place, all over your face type of situation. You cannot escape it. The Switch 2, the Switch Pro, Super Switch. Who knows what it's going to be called? And, these things should always be taken with a grain of salt. But yeah, the successor to the Nintendo Switch has been a hot topic for a while now. But my thing is, we know Nintendo will release a new console. That's a given. Ever since they got into the home console making business, they've released a new one every 5 to 6 years. Sometimes they have some revisions thrown in there, here and there. But typically, yeah, an entirely new console enters a new generation around that 6-year mark. And the Switch is going to be 6 years old in less than a half year. It's time, right? So the, all the little leaks and information, it's going to start getting crazy, I'd imagine, if it hasn't already seemed that way. It's going to get worse. But, I just want to conversate about these things. There's no, problem with speculation. It can be fun, but I'm not really here to talk about too much with leaks and all that. But I do have a curiosity. And my curiosity is more to do with how they approach their next console. Will it rely on some new goofy gimmick? Will it be just a more powerful Switch? I mean, sometimes it seems like if it's Nintendo branded, or at least the past few years, it seems if the Nintendo brand is attached to it, of course it's going to be a success. And, Nintendo has continued to make money. I do think, though, they have this risk with their next console where it might not be as big of a success as they'd like. Historically, the past few generations of Nintendo hardware have been a roller coaster ride as far as how well they sell. Even with lower sales, though, than the previous generation, is it really fair to call something a failure? I mean, if it's profitable, I would say no. But yeah, those numbers, man, Nintendo, they want to be profitable as much as they can and please their investors. So, of course, sales numbers matter. The more consoles sold, the more games get sold, the more controllers sold, and whatever other licensed accessories Nintendo gets a piece of. There's more money, the more success something has as far as how many it sells. But let's take a look back. If you go back 21 years and you take a look at the GameCube, I remember lining up for that thing, getting one day one. It was, a very exciting time. There's a lot of games I really enjoyed on the GameCube, and it sold fairly well in its lifetime, hitting over 22 million sales. Then 5 years later, the Wii launched. Holy crap, that thing sold over 101 million units in its lifetime. That's a ridiculous number for Nintendo. But, I mean, with the Wii, they really tickled it for the casual fans. All them grandmas in retirement homes, getting out of their recliners and, bowling with little Timmy the one time a year that she gets a visit from her family. Glorious times for Nintendo. And then 6 years after that, they fucked it all up. They released the Wii U. Soccer moms and grannies around the world, they were apparently confused by the name, so they didn't buy it. What was this thing? Some kind of upgrade and attachment for the Wii? The casuals didn't bite. All they cared about was playing their Wii Sports pack-in game and nothing else. Maybe they would buy the occasional babysitter simulator, but, they weren't really bothered with, making too many additional purchases. They were happy with what they got. Bowling, dude. Now, 5 years after that travesty, Nintendo took the best, or that's what they kind of say. That's their reasoning. Like all these previous consoles combined and created the Nintendo Switch. Like they took all those ideas, and it kind of worked for them, I think. This machine's, it's outsold the Wii, and it's still selling well. And right now, as of the recording of this video, it's around 111 million units sold. Now, the sales, they've been strong, but year after year, the numbers have dipped a bit. I guess it's getting close to time. But what do? Continue to release like special edition OLEDs? I don't know. I mean, it's now almost 6 years later. They got to do something. That's the way it seems anyway. And I really think this something could be risky. Do you make an upgraded Switch, as the leaks tend to point toward, with that new Nvidia Tegra 239 chip that Nvidia employee talked about, and now like all the speculation is coming back up. Like, holy crap, it's happening. And with all that, from everything I've been reading with this chipset and the possible specs for this next console, it could be 5 to 6 times more powerful than the Switch that we have right now. Does Nintendo need all that power? I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, do they need to compete and have a system that can do close to the graphics of a PS4? Why not? I mean, Nintendo, sometimes they have been the leader in power, and at other times they fall behind and they rely on gimmicks or, just keeping it simple and getting the most out of, the power that they have. Like Nintendo games, first-party games don't really require, crazy processors and graphics, right? Nintendo sells Nintendo games. Those, Mario games, they don't really need ray tracing, but a lot of people do think they need to do something. I guess maybe people want to see those scaly pores on Bowser's ass or something. I don't know. Now, I really don't look at, I don't know, I had this thought, and I know some people may share a similar view, but I don't really look at Nintendo as a competitor to Sony or Microsoft anymore. Sure, they're all video game sellers. They make consoles and games. But I mean, Nintendo, they do their own thing, and they don't really seem to bother worrying about what the competition is doing. Want to play Nintendo games? You got to buy a Nintendo console. I don't see Mario Odyssey on Steam, but I do see PlayStation, Xbox games on PC. And it's kind of a strange and interesting time to be a gamer. I mean, we got options for sure. Now, setting aside those leaks and supposed information out there, I definitely imagine Nintendo will be going for more power. But my concern is, will this be an actual successor, or will it be a stepping stone console like they've done with some of their handhelds? And they've been doing with the Switch so far. We have the Switch Lite and then the OLED. Those each came out 2 years apart from the launch of the Switch. 2 years after the Switch, the Lite. 2 years after that, the OLED. Now, I mean, will they just continue to make more Switch consoles in the future? Are they done with the gimmicks and, weirdness and trying to, be different? Are they just set where they are? Like, okay, the Switch works. That's what we're going to do. Hybrid console handheld system. Now, the one thing I have to say is, regardless of any consoles you like or hate, I don't really care. I always appreciated Sony sticking with the PlayStation branding and just making sequels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It makes sense. Will we start to see something in a similar form with the Switch? The Switch 2? I don't know. Will the new Switch be backwards compatible? Will this system just be pointless and no one develops for it? Now, if it's just an upgraded Switch with not much of an incentive to buy it, will the Nintendo roller coaster take that dip again? If they take that approach of it's upgraded, backwards compatible because it's still just a Switch, how will game development be approached is what I wonder. Will games be playable on both the original and new version on everything new that comes out? Will the new version give the game that you just bought some upgrades to visuals or performance? Or will this successor system be a completely new thing with a new design and play only its own games? Backwards compatibility to me is important, but I also realize it's not everyone's main selling point to buy a new console. People buy new systems to play new games. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Nintendo does. But at the same time, I'm ready to be disappointed and have that roller coaster get stuck in that dip. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. Just a little conversation. Thank you. Bye.